All right, let's build a no-code SaaS app today. I've created a micro-step builder, a GPT over here, and it's specifically instructed to create apps using Base 44 or Lovable, which I will specify. That the advantage of using Base 44 is that we're going to be able to create the app in, which I've already created an app over here called Clickbait Genius. It's a YouTube app, and then I've already created a landing page over here. We're going to create another app together today, and this one, what I did was I basically pasted in the idea. It's a social media caption creator. We're going to upload images or describe our product, and then we're going to get engaging captions for Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn with relevant hashtags, right? So it went in there and it asked me if I want to use Base 44 or Lovable. I specified that, and then boom, it comes with a high-level overview of what we should add into our application. The really cool part is we now have our prompts that we can set up. What I'm going to do is scroll down here. This is the actual first AI prompt that we'll use to set up the foundation of the app right over here. We're just going to be nice and brief. So far in my testing with, I'm going to go ahead and just copy this right here. And notice it's pretty brief. In my testing with using these apps so far, the longer the prompt, the worst results you actually get from these. You want to just tell the app what you're trying to create and then let it do its thing. And that's why we created all these micro steps over here. We're going to go over here. This is Base 44. There'll be a link below if you want to check it out. I'm going to click go. It's going to start thinking and building the foundation. And we're going to come over here and take a look at what we have, what we're going to use next. We broke this down into how many micro steps. We basically have 8 micro steps that we'll go through and see what we can achieve with Base 44. And the difference between Base 44 and like Lovable.dev and Cursor and Bolt and a bunch of other tools is that this tool particularly is everything that you need to create your app is built inside of Base 44. So you won't have to go and connect this to Supabase like most of the other apps. And quite frankly, Supabase, you will end up paying for the back end of that as well. And so it's an all-in-one tool where they manage, build in the database, they do everything. It's a fully supported, financially funded tool. Base 44 was just purchased by Wix for like $80 million. You know that it's got some funding and it's definitely going to be a powerhouse tool. And so I've really enjoyed using it so far. You can see that it's already going and editing the homepage, editing the input selector component, generating content component right there. So it's doing its work. We're going to go and look at these micro steps that this ChatGPT, you have Claude, you have Gemini, you have all these other large language models, but ChatGPT particularly is good at brainstorming and outlining and creating kind of outlines like this. And so that's why I chose ChatGPT to create this. Plus, you can tidy it up and package it up into a nice GPT, which I created down here for myself. It's trained to where I can just give it the idea. And then it actually, even at the bottom over here, kind of cool, I trained it to just give us some ideas like an SEO friendly title, social caption generator. So we can actually come over here, social caption generator, and we can go and see if there's some more keywords that would be related to social caption generator. Social media marketing is way too big, but you can actually use vidIQ if you're going to use YouTube or even one SEO tool to try to go and find a keyword that gets some decent search volume. You could build your tool. The tool's name could actually be around a search term, right? So it's going to try to do its best to find a keyword for you and tell what the tool actually does, right? And then it's going to create a catchy, brandable type. Of course, you're going to want to go and type this into Google and see if someone's already created an app with this name. So Captionly, which is pretty cool. I'm going to search for this. And there is something okay, so there we go. So you had to put it in quotations. There is something Captionly.me. It's an Instagram caption generator, right? So that's a trick. You don't want to go and create your whole company and all that and then know that like, well, someone's already done this Captionly, right? So you probably don't want to call it that, but we could go into GPT and actually say, hey, create some other names for us. It gives us a really cool start and some ideas. Let's go back and see where we're at. So we've got the app now. The base model of the app is already here. We can upload an image. We could go and test this out. We probably wouldn't be able to upload the image yet because we would need to hook up some different things, but this is really cool. We can choose Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I probably would want to add a Twitter in here as well, but we're just going to keep rolling with this. And then you can choose your tone right over here, and then you would say generate caption. So let's just do something. Let's say, I'm just going to put in an idea right there. We're going to choose Instagram and we'll go with casual, inspiring. Let's just leave it on casual and say generate. It actually has its own AI proprietary model built into Base 44 without hooking up OpenAI or Claude or anything like that. Base 44 uses their own proprietary large language model to create generated content. Notice that we didn't do anything else to this application. And usually when you're using other no-code builders, you have to add in your OpenAI key and so forth because you're not using sophisticated, AI large language model. Base 44 already has it built in, and you can use what they have to get you started. You don't even have to add in an API key. I just wanted to point that out because it's really cool. So generated content, we have rise and grind needs a superhero when you have a cup of rich dark coffee to power through the day. Tag your coffee buddy who needs this in their life. Coffee time right there. Boom. So you can copy these right here and you could go, and obviously we could move this into creating a scheduler. You can also come in here and we could hide the chat panel and really look at this. We could also say, hey, make this a little bit wider right there. You can see right over here. And then it gave us 15 more hashtags that we can go with. We can fix up the caption and hashtags. So it actually would copy that first one right there. We would need to shape this up and say, hey, we want to have a saved library where we can save stuff. Maybe we would build in a scheduler, but this on a very first base run, we were already able to come in here and create something that target audience, we would want to be able to give them the option to save and change the target audience and so forth. This is a nice base right here, social media copywriter. Now we can come in here and start going through the micro steps. And this is how you're going to build out your app and make it even that much better. So we have our app foundation. We need to enable user authentication, email and Google login. You just go like this and add this right here. The way Base 44 works is that they automatically do this. I can show you in the dashboard. We can come over here to the dashboard and you're going to be able to come in here and see they actually created another name for us as well, which is called Caption Craft. But you can come over here to users and go into settings. You can change our logo, app settings, authentication right over here. And so the email and password authentication and Google signing up is already it's already part of the app. They already give you these options. These are already baked into Base 44, which is super, super cool. Other applications, even if you're doing Lovable, I know Lovable is great and all, you're going to have to learn how to do that. Even with no coding, you're going to have to learn how to do that. And so that's why Base 44 I've just really enjoyed using so far. So we're going to go back over to preview. It's working on this right now. It says that it's now enabled our user authentication, adding a login, log out system, and a header that displays the user's profile information. Notice it changed colors. Now there is some locks we can put on this as well, but we don't care about that yet because we haven't decided what color we want the app to be. But we can come over here and now see that there's going to be, we are already logged in, and you'll be able to go in here and see that there is a login button right there. So we've already added that. Now we're going to keep cruising. So we have our database set up right over here. Base 44, it's native already in there, and I've already trained this. So we want to create the tables, and I'm just going to follow this the way that it's saying. I'm going to actually just say create tables. I'm going to say database, and I'm going to copy this part right here. We're going to copy this. We're going to come in here. We're going to paste this in right here. I'm going to scroll back to the top though, and I'm just going to erase this part right here. And then we're going to push go. And so now we've given it instructions on what to do with the database, what needs to be created. And if you want to know the database part of it, you would go back to the dashboard and then go into data. We have no data. So there hasn't been any database created yet because I'm clicking on this arrow and nothing's happening. And that's what we're creating right now, to where we can actually, when someone wants to save something in our app, right, in the preview, when someone goes and say we want to put something in right here and create captions and then push save caption. We can't do that unless we have a database created. So that's why the database is usually one of the first things that you're going to build after you have kind of a foundational structure right over here. Okay, so now it is saying that it's created our database for us. And so we'll go over to dashboard just to verify that. We'll go over here to our data, which is the database. And then now we click on the arrow and something actually happens. So you can see that we have our upload. When people upload an image URL, description, generated captions, hashtags. So every single type is like a column. I always think of this kind of like it's a database, but it's basically like an Excel spreadsheet. You have rows and then you have columns of data, right? And you could even add your own rows right here if you wanted to, and saved captions. Now we can actually save our captions, which is super cool. We're going to go back to preview. We're going to keep building this, but what we could do is test this out. What you want to do is maybe test this out. So create one for standard poodle dogs, push enter. We'll go with Facebook on this one. Let's go with funny and generate captions. So it's going to go and create. And notice we have not added OpenAI or anything like that, and it still is going to create really good stuff for us. Ever tried down some more to poodle warning, extremely fluffy brains at work? Let's hear. So now it automatically added the ability we can copy this or we can save this, right? So we caption saved. We need to be able to retrieve our saved captions. So I'm going over here. I'm not seeing the ability. We need to add that in. So we have saved that, but we don't have a way to do that. We could continue seeing if the GPT created this for us. Generation, add integration, boom. So that's where we're going to add all that integration if we want to. User library. Saved captions. My captions fetch from saved captions. We're going to have to create all that. Before getting ahead, I'm going to see how good my GPT actually is. We know that we can save these, but we don't have a way to get to them. We're going to continue to keep coding this app. So we're going to go right over here, upload or describes. We're going to go with the UI and I'm going to just copy this right here. We're going to go back into base 44. We're going to paste this in and then we'll come right back. It usually takes between 1 to 5 minutes per kind of prompt. This functionality is already the core of the app I've built. Here's a quick summary of where you can find each component: file, uploader, the system. Base 44 is smart enough to take this right here. Base 44 is so smart that it took our very small main prompt right here that's only like 3 sentences long, and it already took care of one of the major micro steps. So that's really cool. So we have the AI caption generator right over here. This is where you can add your API integration for Claude, OpenAI, and all that. I'm not going to do that in this video, but you can easily do that inside the app. We're going to go to output display right here. We're going to speed through these and see if there's any of these micro steps that the tool has not implemented. We're going to run through these and we'll be right back. So right here, it's noticed that this is already what we have, output display right there. So we've already got this. It's saying that the functionality you've described is live and ready to use. Would you like to make any changes to how the output's displayed? For example, we could change the layout colors. So we can come back to that later. User library, fetch from saved. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab this one. We know that they've done most of this, but let's see if it has any improvements to make on this micro step. We can't retrieve our saved captions, but this is pretty impressive. It is editing my library page. But so far, pretty impressive that all these steps that we would break into, and that goes along with my point that if you have a really good prompt, Base 44 will basically take your idea and create a pretty dang good app because it's using AI to plan for the things you already need. Authentication's already built in, all that kind of stuff. It's doing a really good job already. First 6 steps right over here. Let's go back and see it's editing. There was one thing that it found that we did. There's the create user library for saved captions, right? So we're over here bookmarking or saving captions, but we didn't actually tell the database that it needs to have a column for the saved captions in our database. And so we'll be able to go and find that once it's done doing this. All right. So it says that it's done that now, right? So now we can come over here and now you can see the brand new part where it says my library. We have that one that we already saved. So we already saved that, but now it's added it in there. So you have your create caption area. This is how I like to build apps. There's like 2 things you can do, right? You can come into your captions, you can edit, you can type in here and edit Really cool stuff. We can copy this and we can delete it as well. So I'm just going to save changes. We have this Facebook post. We probably want to fix that. You can get really granular. You can say on Facebook posts, we only want 2 hashtags. On Instagram posts, we want 5 hashtags. On LinkedIn posts, we want 3 hashtags. You can actually train the AI and it will do that. This is super useful. So it found what we needed, it fixed it, it added the library in right over here. Now we can go back in here, we can move on to monetization, free plan, paid plan, Stripe integration right there. I will show that in another video. Stripe is super easy to integrate. All you have to do is go to Stripe, grab your API key and throw it in right here. Boom, you will be fully integrated. It's the easiest Stripe integration that I've seen in any apps. But in order to show you this, I would have to create another Stripe account just for demo purposes. I'm just not going to do that right now. If you really need me to create a video on how that works, then in my next demo, we'll create another app together. I'll be sure to add Stripe in there. So just make sure that you leave in the comments that please show us how to do Stripe integration, and I'll do that in the next video. And then UI polish dashboard with 3 tabs, create, my captions, and account. Add Instagram style preview card showing caption plus hashtags under a fake post mockup for user experience boost. Let's just go and try that out real quick. And then also we want to try this. The captions are generated. Can you make them wider so it's easier on the eyes to read? So we're actually giving it 2 steps. It's going to be doing 2 things for us. And also what that means for your base 44 credits. So I'll come over here and hover. You'll be able to see credits. I still have 250 credits. I'm on their $50 a month plan, the builder plan. Every time if I prompt this like this, it doesn't matter if you have 2 or 10 things. It's only 1 message that you're sending. Now, I don't recommend doing more than like 2 or 3 large things at once. You don't want to confuse. You don't want it to bog down. There's no software that's going to be able to handle a major, massive list of things to do. So keep it minimal, but you can have it do a couple tasks and it will only count as 1 message. Another quick tip for you if you're using Base 44 is that if you click the discuss button and highlight that, it only takes like a quarter of a response point every time you want to have a discussion. It won't implement anything, but you can ask it, are you able to do this? And it will give you instructions on how to do it before you actually use your response credits. So I find that that's a really good way to do it as well. All right, so you can see that it's edited the Instagram preview component, it's editing the home page, and it's editing generated content component. And so we'll be able to come and take a look. And once it refreshes like that, that's when you know. It's moved over to the left, which is really neat. We've got Instagram. We'll just keep it the way it is right now. And of course, the target audience and stuff, all you have to do is just come down here and type in and say, hey, can we allow the user to save their target audience or whatever, make changes to their target audience. So now this looks a lot better. Look at this. Now you have your generated captions on the right-hand side. It's a lot easier to look at. And then you can also come over here and see what this preview on Instagram would actually look like. You can actually see what this preview would look like right here, sipping into the worlds. If I click over here, we can save ditching the heat with iced coffee. Boom, right there. You have your hashtags right there. Maybe we want to say, hey, we want to give the user the option to create 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 or something like that, right? What I find that's so fun about doing this is that you just continue to keep coming up with ideas in your mind while you're using the app that would make the app even better. It's really, really fun. Like right now, I would want to adjust the target audience over here, but you can completely see how we can go in and add, this one's for Instagram, this one's for Facebook. We can copy, we can come back over there. And maybe once we copy something, we can tell it to put it into used captions, and then it will move it into a library or automatically get rid of it. You can easily add that in, and that would bring even more value. If you're saving people time and they're able to manage their brand and their marketing, that's what intrigues people to actually want to use a software, right? If it's going to save them time and it's pretty slick, and then you don't want to overdo it though, right? It's very simple. It creates captions for 3 places. Once you start for this particular app, just think, guys, once you add in Pinterest and image creation and all that stuff, the app is going to take a lot longer, more resources. It's going to take longer to develop. You're going to have to figure out how to connect to Pinterest. You're going to have to add in the API and AI that you're going to use to actually create images and stuff. You can do that inside of Base 44. Just know that your app development is going to take longer, because I did a lot of that with my other YouTube app, and it did take a while, a whole week to build it out. It took 200 credits from Base 44, but it's pretty cool. I'll be making some more videos on that soon. You want to make sure you subscribe because I'm going to be making more no code videos. I want to see if the upload image thing works. So I'm going to go to this mobile funnels thumbnail from yesterday and see what it's going to do. So it actually uploaded that. We're going to go with an Instagram post and create captions. It's going to read our thumbnail. We didn't put anything else other than just an upload image. And it says ready to take your sales to the next level with our mobile funnels. You'll create high converting sales funnels in minutes. Don't miss out on boosting your conversions, sales success. Transform your business strategy with our mobile funnels. Create stunning sales funnels that convert quickly and easily. This is what it would maybe look like. That part right there, we would need to say, hey, the preview is not working or whatever. And we'd be able to fix that, no problem. But it did work. It was able to completely read the image. And maybe we would add in here that we could type in something and add the image. But I like the simplicity of this, that someone can just type in what they are looking for or upload an image and it will read the image and create based on that as well. So high value. What do you guys think? If you made it all the way to the end, type in social media copywriter. And I'll know something social media, captions, or copywriter, and I'll know that you watched the whole thing. Thanks so much. If you want to go check out Base 44, link below. I'll see you in the next video.